Live across this big, brown, flat, mysterious, crazy country, it's Martin Molloy with Mick Molloy and Tony Martin.
And today, Jason Donovan has passed his urine test with flying colours, and he'll be joining us live on the panel. That's the real Jace, not one of us doing a silly voice and then falling over. Also today, baby John Burgess speaks exclusively to Martin Molloy. We'll profile the year's most pathetic attempted bank robbery on What's All That About, and Mickey previews his version of The Rock. On Radio Gladiators, we're off to Atlanta one final time. We'll award the Fumio, fire up the incinerator, and also joining us to shut down the love machine and give away a car worth 27 grand, it's the director of Love and Other Catastrophes, Emma Kate Krogan. Krogs. Yes, it's all coming up on the program, which in a blatant ratings ploy will now be known as Stephen King's Martin Molloy. Martin Molloy.
What's the difference between SAFM and the other radio stations?
Bloke here, you've probably seen his picture in today's papers, out on the town with Fergie in Melbourne after last night's Foxtel launch. Unfortunately, Mick, the captions are not very flattering. Look at this. A foul-mouthed, boorish bull in a china shop pictured here with radio's Mick Molloy.
Yeah, well, we'll shrug it off together.
Okay, but hey, it's the end of the week. Yes, it's time to name the winner of this week's Martin Molloy Fumio. It's time for the person whose performance over the last week has provided us with the most material, thereby gaining that special individual entrance to our very own Hall of Olympians. The Fumios, this week brought to you by new Maggi Paul Onions flavoured chip dip. It's the chip dip you just can't ignore unless you're working at the Bowral Police Station. And, Mick, it's been a big week. Linford Christie's contact lenses, Michael Hutchins going the bird on a reporter's crash helmet, Joe Frazier threatening to push Muhammad Ali into the Olympic flame, Charlie Perkins making an ass of himself. Who are the nominees?
Kieran Perkins, who proved this week he has a heart the size of Bruce McAvaney's mouth.
Ian Botham, who, together with former England batsman Alan Lamb, lost his libel case against Imran Khan and faces $1 million in legal expenses. Botham and Lamb tour the after-dinner speaking circuit in Britain. This is true, with an act called Beefy and Lamb in a Stew, which is the same phrase the judge used to announce the verdict.
The 139-year-old man who said he was tired, ready to die, and then refused a date with Barbara Cartland because he didn't want to be known as a cradle snatcher.
Hitchhiker Paul Onions, the man who fingered Ivan Milat and only escaped death himself when the killer realised if he chopped up onions, he'd probably start crying. But no, the Fumio goes to
Baby John Burgess. Who, despite a deluge of letters leaping to his defence, continues to take his sacking not only on the chin, but also his newly exposed top lip.
Yes, that's
Good
right.
on him.
Well, here's a treat for the listeners, Mickey. Earlier today, we actually scored an exclusive interview with the man himself, Baby John. Check this out. Baby John, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today.
I must admit I've been very nervous about doing this because this is my first appearance since I was sort of removed from Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, look, we'd rather not dwell on Wheel of Fortune if that's all right.
Yeah, let's move on, shall we?
If you sort of whinge and complain, people think it's just sort of sour grapes, and I don't decry, change. There's nothing wrong with change, but there's a way to do things and a way not to do things. I don't really want to talk that much about it.
No. Okay, well, let's move on.
Because they moved the production to Sydney from Adelaide, and I said goodbye to everybody in Adelaide, said goodbye to a lot of people in Adelaide who weren't going to Sydney. And then I turned out I was one of them. I don't really want to talk too much about it.
Changing the subject just for a second, Burjo.
So I just got a phone call after 12 years of doing the show, which was rating, I must say, number one, and just took one phone call to say, see you later. But anyway, I don't really want to talk that much about it. I mean, that chapter's finished, another chapter has started.
Yeah, look, on a completely different matter, I understand you've been having discussions with people about...
they just said that someone had made a decision to change the host of Wheel of Fortune, and I thought, they're going to replace him with someone young, which I thought, fair enough. But when they replaced me with who they did, not much of a rap when you get replaced by somebody who's older than you are. But anyway, I don't really want to talk that much about it.
Right. Well, if we could leave that aside.
Anyway, see you later. See you later, Bejo. Thanks very much.
Okay, here's one out of left field for you.
See you later, Bejo.
Yeah, let's move ahead to the future, shall we?
Well, you get angry, and I haven't said anything to anybody. I've had a lot of magazines chasing me with a checkbook, and we want the story and all that. But as I said, I'm not really into that. It's not me to do that. Yep. So I'd rather just say, okay, fair enough. That's their decision. It's been made. That chapter's over.
Okay.
Let's move ahead.
So looking to the future, I mean, the thing...
See you later, Bejo. Thanks very much.
Well, every cloud has a silver lining, doesn't it, Mickey?
Absolutely, and on a brighter note...
Just a bit angry about it. Just the way it all was done, that's all. But I don't really want to talk too much about it.
Now, I understand you're a big bowling fanatic.
There's no respect, you know. I've always been brought up to respect people, and a lot of people have no soul and don't respect other people. Right. That's wrong. That's wrong. I don't care what industry.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't really want to talk that much about it.
Yeah, this bowling business. Now,
somebody asked me then, what are you going to do, Virgo? You know, why did they do this to you? And I said, look, I don't want to talk about that. See you later, Virgo. Thanks very much.
Finally, a radio station that picks me up and makes me feel good.
You don't treat me no good no more here at Martin Molloy, where... Just check the clock. Yes, Mickey, it's time to ask the question.
What's all that about? Are you sitting down? All right, now have a listen to this, Tone. Over the last year or so, we've featured some fairly comical attempts by would-be criminals to rob banks.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
there was the bloke with the drawn-on glasses.
Yeah, we loved his work.
We had some good fun at his expense. You know, I found this out recently. He draws on another pair when he's at home just for reading. Did you know that?
He draws on bifocals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he knows what he's up to. Then there was the robbers, if you remember, who attempted a robbery on tranquilizers and they fell asleep while they were making their getaway.
I remember that one.
Oh, did you see the police reading them their rights? It was like a bedtime story, if I remember correctly.
Everyone had the little nightcaps on.
That's all right. Mugs of Ovaltine. But move over, pretenders, because there's a new kid on the block. Have a listen to this. Police in San Francisco are still shaking their heads after being involved in what they described as the dumbest robbery they have ever come across. Here's how the action unfolded. Firstly, the robber, Troy Durden, robbed the bank where he is a customer. Secondly, he did it without a mask. And finally, he returned 6 days later to deposit the stolen money into his account. Now, Tone, the term master criminal is bandied about far too often for my liking these days, but that mantle sits comfortably on the shoulders of Troy Durden, shoulders which, incidentally, flank his easily recognisable head. He must have been planning this one for months. I find it hard to believe he acted alone. Apparently, there were plenty of other people in the bank when he committed the robbery, totally devoid of any disguise. Tell me they weren't in the know. Out the front of the bank, there was a guy sitting in a car with the rego clearly visible. He was dressed quite normally, no mask, just parked there, reading a paper. Are you going to try and tell me that wasn't the getaway car?
He was involved.
Come on. Do you think I came down in the last shower?
It's too much of a coincidence.
It is. Listen to this. The cops were bloody lucky to get him, actually, because the wily old dog nearly slipped through the net. He was spotted depositing the loot right, but thinking quickly, as tellers gathered round him, Durden covered his face with an arm.
Did he?
He put a hand over his face, and then to throw them off the scent even further, placed his head on the counter.
This is true. This is all absolutely true.
That'd be spooky to see, wouldn't it? It'd be like, you know, he was there 1 minute and poof, vanished the next. Where did he go? Where did he go? Did anyone see the bloke who was standing here clear as day a minute ago? Bloody hell! It's like an episode of The X-Files. Apparently, as the cops closed in, he made a last-ditch attempt to give him the slip by going, cold, cold, warm, not cold, you're cold. But there you go. Alas, somehow the police managed to see through this ingenious smokescreen and nab old Captain Obvious. And Dane, have a look at this picture here. Yeah. It's a picture of him going into court now. Right. Again, most people, it's jumper over the head. Nah. He's tied his round the waist. Once again, one step ahead of the law. Sure, his face is easily recognisable, bird, try and get a good look at his ass.
You're out of luck.
You've got Buckley.
Well, Mickey, that's a bizarre case, but here's one I've been following. It's going on right here in Australia, in Sydney, and they've got the finale in the paper today. Police have dismissed a complaint by a 26-year-old prostitute that she was stalked by Daniel Johns, the 17-year-old lead singer of Silverchair, after it was discovered that at the time of the alleged incident, Johns was overseas on tour with his band. Now, before police proved that call girl Paula Gay Knightley was lying, she actually took out a court order against Johns, alleging he'd been following around calling out, "Paula, Paula, Paula, I want to make love to you, Paula." Well, there's the new single. I hear she also alleged that Johns had stolen 26 grand off his parents to follow around the country. But this is absolutely true. And since the case was dismissed, Knightley has taken out another court order against Ernie Sigley. She says he's been following around singing, "Hey, hey, Paula, I want to marry you someday."
Radio Gladiators is coming up. Call us now on 1800 657 657 on the new SAFM.
Hi, recommend getting your heart traveled on to anyone. Yeah. So, hi, recommend walking around naked in your living room. Yeah. Swallow it down.
please. That's You Learn here at Martin Molloy.
Only one man has ever broken out. Now, 5 million lives depend on 2 men breaking in. They must penetrate a maximum security prison that bears an uncanny resemblance to the noggin of Australian TV personality Mike Munro in The Rock.
Welcome to The Rock, gentlemen.
One of the most treacherous rock faces known to man. 2 men must scale its severe north face, enter the mausoleum-like cranium, and detoxify its deadly contents before they are unleashed on an unsuspecting public. This is a battle against time and a labyrinth of gaping chasms and gnarled crevices that are immediately associated with the melon of Mike Munro.
Come on, man. Just a few more meters, and we've made it to that nostril-like cavern.
I'm falling!
Give me a hand.
I don't want to die! Not here! Not here!
Don't look down, whatever you do.
Can't reach! Slipping!
Who could have created such a godforsaken place?
The Rock has smashed box office records all around the world, and critics have been unanimous in their praise.
Connery is superb, but the real star is The Rock itself, a foreboding nuggety lump of granite that couldn't be more frightening if it actually was the head of Mike Munro.
Peter Green, The Sunday Age.
Not since Cliffhanger has anyone attempted to scale such a rugged, unforgiving landscape. This is one rock that will disturb the hardened and frighten the pants right off the kiddies.
David Peters, The Australian.
This is the scariest film of the year. I'm certainly glad they chose to model The Rock on Mike Munro's head and not my own, because that would be even scarier.
Richard Carlton, 60 Minutes. They've set films in the New York sewer system, graveyards full of the living dead. But this time, Hollywood, you've gone too far. If you only see one film this year, pray it's not The Rock.
Oh my God, the forehead, it's collapsing. Quickly, run for your lives. Why didn't I do Highlander 3?
What's the difference between SAFM and the...
Boy, with father and son, we're in the next hour of this very program. Jason Donovan is going to be sitting in. On the panel, we've removed all sharp objects from the studio. He's heading here right now.
So if you see him out there, anyone, please don't run over him. Don't do anything. We want him here safely in one piece.
That's right. Steer clear of his bicycle. That'll be in the next hour. Also, the Love Machine. It all comes to a close in the next hour. Yesterday's Love Machine was an interesting one. We were getting people to phone up and apologise to their lovers on air. It was kiss and make up time.
Yeah, it was nice to hear from Love Jugs.
That's right, because half the callers were people apologising for their performances on previous editions of the Love Machine. It was the bloke who called his girlfriend Love Jugs and then had to come on and apologise, which just made things worse as far as I could see.
Exactly. I don't think we helped.
Not at all.
Not that we ever do, Tone.
And because it's the final one, because the whole competition has been made possible by the team behind Love and Other Catastrophes, this new Australian film everyone's talking about, which opened yesterday. It's on now. Go and check it out. The director of the film, young Emma Kate Krogan, is going to be here to choose the winner and oversee proceedings.
Fantastic.
And give away the car, the 27 grand car. And because she's coming in, I thought, let's all have hyphenated names. Let's not just let Emma Kate have all the fun.
Exactly.
So you can be Mickey Kate Molloy. I'll be Tony Kate Martin. Our producer can be Gracie Kate Gracie. And our assistant Emma Moss, fortuitously, is Emma Kate Moss.
Emma
which I
Kate.
think is a fantastic bit of luck for all concerned.
That works out nicely.
Give yourself a hyphenated name just for the segment, people. Join in the fun. What else is going on? Oh, I must just mention the Martin Molloy website. Give it a visit over the weekend if you've got nothing better to do. If you've got access to the internet, it's fantastic. If you haven't, It sucks. Wouldn't go there. Don't bother. It's a waste of time. But there's all kinds of stuff. You can find out what's coming up in future editions. You can sit in the Martin Molloy virtual chair. Ooh. And you can you read all kinds of rubbish that we've penned on the weekends. Also, you can give us a serve. You can fire a bit of email at us. There is a filtering procedure. Obviously, the creepy ones don't get through. But, we're getting messages. We've got a message. This is a real interesting one because it's going right around the world, the internet. And you can hear bits of our show. You can click on things and hear bits of the show. It changes every week. We're getting stuff from America. And I actually had an email from a bloke in Florida somewhere who was very keen. He does his own radio show. He's very keen on our segment, Beat the Beasley. Remember Beat the Beasley?
Yes.
He wants to do a version, and he's asking my permission to do an American version with Ted Kennedy. That's for real. So I'm hoping he'll send us some tapes, and we'll see what Beat the Beasley sounds like in Miami.
God, it's gone off.
Finally, just before we go to the break, I'd like to mention last night, horror, the terror, was finally revealed on Channel 10. Stephen King's The Langoliers. We warned you, people. They finally made an appearance. Just set it up for people who didn't see it. What did they do in part one?
It was part two. The postscript of part one, where they set up the terrifying scenario where the Langoliers were coming to town. Not a bad first part of a two-parter.
Yeah, everyone's on a plane. Oh, the Langoliers are coming. They're going to be bloody scary.
They're coming. They just, that's all you hear about. They're coming. Watch out. They're coming. And, you're thinking, wow, they're going to really kick some ass when they get here, because the whole thing's hinge is pivotal, is critical about their arrival.
And when the Langoliers finally appeared, what were they? They were the hungry enzymes from the old Drive commercial. It was the most piss-weak computer animation. It was like a real cheap home computer version of the Lawnmower Man. Everyone's on this plane going, oh, no, it's the Langoliers. And there's these little hungry enzymes going, oh, eats through blood, gravy and dirt stains. At the
There's
window.
a Pac-Man. There's a Pac-Man. They're scooting across the airport like Pac-Man. I haven't been that frightened since I lost my Game Boy. Oh, it was terrifying. Oh, and the technology employed. I was waiting for Roger Rabbit to appear. What happened? 1 minute I'm watching a serious kind of Stephen King-like drama, and the next minute it's the incredible Mr. Limpet. Remember that? It was a whole thing set in the Navy where they had an animated fish. They used to talk to humans.
It was a Don Knotts film, and it had all the terrifying realism of a Don Knotts movie. That's Stephen King's Langoliers. Keep an eye out for that if they play that again. But speaking of terror, Mick, it's coming up next. It's Martin Molloy's Stephen King's Radio Gladiators.
This is Martin Molloy.
It's a pants-off look at life in the raw without any drawers.
Brought to you by Absolutely Nobody. The new SAF.
Welcome back to Martin Molloy, where I knew I forgot something.
What have you done?
That website I was crapping on and on about would have been handy if I'd given people the address, wouldn't it?
It's going to be big smacks for you after the show.
Well, we'll leave it to the professionals. What is it, Pete?
http://martinmolloy.village.com.au.
Got that, okay. All right, and Pete, while you're there, what's it time for?
Radio Gladiators, your chance to represent your state and win fame, glory, and fabulous prizes. Here's today's challenge.
Mickey, the Olympics, is it over yet?
No, but I believe it's imminent.
Yeah, I know it's imminent. I know it's coming to a close because I've seen some of them IOC officials, Samaranch and co. They're already starting to be sucked up to by people from other countries wanting to get their hands on the 2004 Olympics. And, is that an easy job? IOC official, that's you're cushioned, don't you? You just sit back on a big pile of velvet cushions and wait for people to start queuing up with big trays of free car stereos and grapes and Volkswagen Golfs and whatever they can get their hands on.
You're like a Langolier. You're just consuming everything in your path. Gimme, 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 gimme.
And whoever brings them the most chocolates and trinkets and CDs and jewellery and shoes and clothing and money gets the next Olympics. That's how it works as far as I can see.
And that's the Olympic spirit, Tony.
They're a law unto themselves. What about the wife of IOC Vice President Dick Pound, Julie Pound? She was yesterday arrested and charged with kneeing a police officer in the groin who'd stopped her for jaywalking. See, they just think they can do anything, the IOC officials.
And he was lucky to get off that lightly. I'm telling you.
She's thinking, that's what I think of your bed. But and, of course, the Olympians are coming home.
Yep.
I know our own Michael Diamond. He's got his own train today. They're setting up the Michael Diamond Express to take him back to Goulburn. So get out of the way if you see the Michael Diamond Express coming, because he's armed.
Yep.
So steer clear of him. They're all coming back, and, of course, Bruce McAvaney. I think he's been the centre of focus over there. He's been the voice of Channel 7's commentary, at least.
Yep.
And, you know, we haven't really paid tribute.
We haven't
really paid tribute to Bruce's work.
And it would be remiss of us not to.
So I think it's appropriate. The final radio gladiators for the Olympics, we just get you to McAvaney up.
McAvaney up, and not commentating, not doing what he does for a living, but being Bruce McAvaney and doing something else.
That's
around
right.
the house.
You are Bruce McAvaney. You choose the situation and provide us with a Macca's-style commentary. And have we got time for one example? Okay, Mickey, you're going to do one for us?
Well, what do you want me to do? All right, here's one. Here, how about the amorous Bruce McAvaney in the sack?
All right.
How about that? Okay, are we ready to go for the...
Have we got a sound effects bed?
Okay, how about this? Oh, look at me, I'm on the job now. I've got my pants around my ankles and I'm really going for it now. Look at me go. Look at me go. Oh, and look, I'm so excited. This could be a record time. Have a look at me in the downstairs department and tell me that's not bigger than Farlap's heart. Oh, and I'm digging deep now. Here I come, and oh, that was sensational. Easily my fastest time of the year and a personal best. What can we say? What a magnificent performance from me.
You know what? I'm glad you did that, Mickey, because now nobody else can do it.
I've headed him off at the pass.
You've done the obvious, and it's up to the listeners to go you one better. The most mundane, round the house, going down the shop style activity. Whatever it is.
Oh, look at me now. I'm going to answer the phone. I've never heard it ring like that before. Forget those Olympic rings. This phone is...
That's the kind of thing we're chasing. It's nice. It's special. It's always got a smile on its face. And what have we got by way of prizes? Well, you'll get that pair of Molloy sunnies that everybody's talking about, and you'll go into the draw for a trip for two to Falls Creek, courtesy Falls Creek, courtesy Qantas, courtesy Cedarwood Lodge, and courtesy Winter Haven Ski Hire. We're drawing that trip at the conclusion of today's segment, so just call us up and beat Bruce McAvaney doing whatever you want, except commentating sports. 1800 657 657.
The new SAFM, now playing better.
As we frantically cobble together a segment today based on Bruce McAvaney. We just noticed that over the 3-week period, or however long, 2 weeks that the Olympics has been going, we haven't really had anyone doing the Bruces, and we always like to hear the Bruces. So we've got people online ready to McAvaney up. Summon the McAvaneys. Mick Molloy.
Peter, are you there?
Yeah, mate.
Okay, thanks for joining us, and you're going to be our first McAvaney out of the blocks today. Can you handle the pressure?
Oh, no worries, mate.
All right, mate.
Easy.
And where is Bruce McAvaney, just for our benefit?
Well, he's doing the Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
Oh, of course.
Here he is. Bruce McAvaney hosting Wheel of Fortune.
We're spinning the wheel now, and it's round, it's going around. There goes the 100. We're coming up to the $500 mark. There goes the 7. Is it going to hit the glittering gold symbol? Yes, we've got the glittering gold symbol.
Well, I don't know about that, Mickey. There didn't seem to be enough trivia information, enough statistics in there.
Sure. I need more background on the wheel itself.
Yeah, exactly. On its history. Okay, on its previous performances. Thanks, Peter. Nice try, but we're going to move on to Stuart. Stuart, in what situation have you placed Bruce McAvaney?
He's complaining at a restaurant.
All right, take it away, Stuart.
Okay, well, I don't think you'll be very happy with that today. We're expecting big things from you today, and you just didn't produce the goods. I think your manager might have to go back to the drawing board. It doesn't really compare to the meal I had back here in 1928. That was a good meal, but you just haven't managed to come up with the goods today, I'm sorry.
All right. Lovely, Stuart. And, Stuart, have you got a little short-sleeve shirt on with a tie?
Oh, certainly.
Of course you have. All right, thanks, Stuart. That's more like it. And now we're speaking to Taylor. Taylor, what have you done?
I've got Bruce going to a funeral.
All right, so it's a sombre Bruce.
Yeah, it's a sombre Bruce, absolutely.
Okay, but I'm afraid the background sound effects ain't going to change. Take it away, Taylor.
Oh, the morning party as they make their way down through the congregation, absolutely fantastic. I mean, if you have a look at those guys, there's not a dry eye in the house, and you'd be flat out trying to beat a performance like this. And I mean, if he doesn't come through with the goods on this one, I reckon it'd be a bit of a stiff performance.
Yes, all right. Oh, and have a look. There's the flame. Oh, I've never been so moved. And Taylor, how many hours have you spent watching Bruce's work over the last couple of weeks?
Probably about 2.
2? Well, you got them all in. Okay, well, thanks, Taylor. Now we've got Matt. Matt, what are you going to do for us as Bruce McAvaney?
Well, I'll be doing Surfing the TV Guide.
Surfing the TV Guide. Take it away, Matt.
Oh, gee. We're starting off at 3 o'clock on 7. We got My Three Sons with Fred McMurray. Isn't that a great sounding name, Fred McMurray? Then we're back to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, one of the greatest shows. Tonight at 8:30, we've got Stop or My Mum Will Shoot. Oh, gee. Isn't Estelle Getty good? She's done some great work in the past with Golden Girls. And Sylvester Stallone, hasn't he come on in years with Rocky? What a great performance.
We're not going to stop you, Matt. Keep going.
And then we got the Night of the Generals on 11:20. A World War II masterpiece.
Hey, all right, that's enough. That's beautiful. Matt, do you spend much time watching Macca's in action?
Oh, well, I got a lot of tips from Rob Sitch.
Oh, yes, Rob.
Yeah.
He watches a bit of Mac.
Yeah.
But,
Nicely done, indeed.
Indeed. Okay, thanks, Matt. I think we've got time for one more. Scott, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here, boys.
Okay, you ready to Mac away? It's Mac time.
Yep.
Take it away. What are you doing for us, by the way?
Oh, Bruce McAvaney, the McDonald's drive-thru.
Oh, of course. It is Mac time. Take it away.
And we're getting ready for a start here. Can I take your order, sir? Oh, that's magnificent. I haven't seen a start like that since Sharon back in 92. Yes, I'll have a quarter pounder, 2 Big Macs, and a small fries. Any drinks with that? Oh, yes, tremendous performance. This has got to be some sort of record.
Well, Scott, we're very impressed by the two-hander you've got going there. But can we really go past Matt and his TV
I
guide?
don't think so.
All right, we're giving it to Matt. Are you there, Matt?
Yeah.
Matt, how do you think Bruce feels about winning the Molloy sunglasses?
Oh, gee, well, that's my second gold, as I've won on before.
Oh, have you really? What did you score for before?
Well, it was on Melbourne Cup Day. I did the same thing.
Oh, that was like last year or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, can we accept it, Mickey? It's the same thing.
What did he do?
We do the same thing all the time. Yes, we All right.
Tested.
Well,
there's a protest.
Okay, well, it's very rare that someone even gets through twice, let alone actually wins twice. But, Scott, it's all fair enough. So we've written your name on the bit of paper. It's gone into the Martin Molloy Beasley. Our assistant Emma is reaching in. Can we have a bit of a drum roll, Gracie? It's an Olympic moment right here. And, Emma, have you got someone?
Yes, it's Aaron Butt from Blackburns Bay in Tasmania.
Aaron Butt! The Buttman! The Buttman's come good from Tasmania, from Blackburns Bay. He was the man who suggested Björk opening the Finnish Nutcase Festival.
Well, he's been duly rewarded.
His hard work paid off. And sorry it wasn't you, Matt, but nonetheless, Aaron has got the Molloy Sunnies, and of course, he's going off to Falls Creek with them, thanks to the people at Falls Creek. And we'll be back with a fresh week of Radio Gladiators, and I don't think the Olympics is going to cop a mention next week. I hope not. I'm getting fed up with it. Thanks to everyone who took part, and we'll be back in the next hour with Emma Kate Krogan, the director of Love and Other Catastrophes, and live on the panel, Jason Donovan.
This is Martin Molloy, brought to you by Absolutely Nobody.
This is Matt.
Let's not muck around, Mickey.
Let's get into it.
All right, this bloke, I think we know who he is. I think we've heard all the stories. He's young, he's personable, he's shaky on the pins. He's JC Donovan! Jason, thanks for dropping by today.
Fantastic to be in your premises.
Now, where do we start? I'd like to ask you first, Jace, is it the nice young Jace that we've all come to love over the years, or is this the evil Jason that we've been reading about lately?
This is the Renaissance.
Oh, okay.
This is the transitional period. I don't think I've ever been nice. I've just had to be nice.
That was a media beat-up, was it?
I've been, totally media bet-up.
Yeah.
No, I just came out of, to go back to my nappies,
Sure.
but I came out of Joseph with a pair of loincloths intact, and I felt that I just needed to crash a few cars within my mind.
I see.
I stole on a Bono line there.
Is that right?
Daddy's going to pay for your crashed car.
Are you going to be recording your next album in a castle in Scotland?
Well, maybe not, no, but I don't know about recording at the moment. I've just sort of put that a little bit on the back burner. I got a little bit burnt by the sort of Stock Aitken Waterman production value values.
Yes, let's go back. What happened to Stock Aitken Waterman? They were... Let me just see if I can paint a picture. If I remember, they were three fat English blokes who were far too old to be wearing jeans, who claimed to have written, I think, one of Kylie Minogue's songs in the back of a taxi on the way to the airport in about 10 minutes. Is that the guys?
Well, yeah, that's the guys. There was very little to actually be done in the studio other than sing.
Yeah.
And that's why I got a little bit bored after a while.
I see.
You know, I was making a fortune, but, you know, you sort of need to go back and sort of think about why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and then get serious. And I reckon the next stuff I do is not going to work at all because all the stuff that I'm not proud of it works, seems to work, and the stuff that I really put a lot of time into just goes by the back burner.
Would you go in there and present them with your own ideas or say, I want to do this or I want to do that, and they just go, yeah, nah, you could do that, but here's something we've prepared.
Right. Well, I probably wouldn't go back in there at all. Yeah. They were a very clever bunch of guys. Mike Stott was the brains. He was actually an English sort of graduate somewhere at Oxford or something. Right. So he's got a very good grasp of the English knowledge. He stole everything. I mean, every melody line you could imagine, you know, every chord sequence that, you know, I occasionally would see a Billy Joel book, you know, sort of stuck in there. And then I'd go home at night, look through the Billy Joel chartboard and go, far out. That looks pretty amazing.
Now, speaking of pinching the odd tune, what about Andrew Lloyd Webber? You've worked with him from time to time. Have you ever met that strange-looking little homunculus of a man?
Yeah, he's ugly. And he sacks everyone every day.
Does he? Does he just turn up and sack someone straight away?
He sacked the entire Joseph cast the night before we were about to go on, and then all the employees sort of reinstated us within the next 5 minutes. A raving... maybe I shouldn't say it. But...
we get your drift.
Yeah. He spends a lot of time rooting. And if you actually look at all his musicals, are basically about sex.
Really?
Well, most of them. Cats is about, you know...
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
No.
I haven't been to see Cats.
Have you ever heard of when the cats get together, though?
Is that it?
Yeah, they squeal. They just squeal for hours.
That's where he's getting his inspiration. He's obviously been staying up late. There's a couple of cats going like the clappers out his bedroom window as he's trying to write.
Yeah.
I don't know, cats.
Well,
That'll
Cats,
work.
what else do you... Phantom of the Opera. I mean, they're all basically about losers. But he is earning probably $100 grand as we speak.
All right, well, let's talk about the musical you're doing, or you've just completed in Perth, Rocky Horror. How'd you find that? Was that a step up in class after a Lloyd Webber production?
Oh, majorly. Richard O'Brien, thank you very much for those amazing lyrics.
Yep.
No, it really was a good experience. It's a liberating role to play, you know, and it was even more liberating with all the stuff that I went through with the face. Probably that sort of gave it more of a.
How do you feel though, Jace, when you first put that costume on, and surely anyone's going to feel like a bit of a goose when you go to the fitting, you put it on, you have a look in the mirror.
Well, it's the G string that gets me. Right. It's that big G thing. In fact, James Rain's about to do the little shock of horrors. Yep. I'd like to see him in a G string.
You speak for yourself, Jason Donovan.
Yeah, well, no, it is a... Rocky's a great piece because it's sort of, you can smoke, you can drink, and you can fall around on stage and you can be 28. And I just wanted to get out of, you know, Mr. Cheese, because... No more cheese, please.
No more cheese,
I've just done the cheese. And I think if I wouldn't have sort of collapsed a few times, which I've become very well known for doing.
Oh, we've heard.
Yeah, I'm still standing by Elton John's my next single.
What I love, Jason, is 3 of your collapses are actually listed on your resume now. I think it's great that you're drawing attention to them.
Look, I didn't want to... Cliff Richard's a very big idol of mine, and I felt that if my career was heading the way it was going, I would have been Cliff. I just had to do something really dramatic and have a good time while I was doing it.
I can see you 20 years from now getting up at Wimbledon and entertaining the crowd with a bit of Too Many Broken Hearts. I can see it happening.
Thanks. There was a point in the show, Richard Piper. Do you know Richard Piper?
Yes, he's a thespian.
Yes. Thespian actor, great little singer. Sings a song called Take Me Back to St Kilda, which is a very funny song. Heard it about 14 times while I was on the tour. Like, again. Enough.
Andrew Lloyd Webber wants to use it in his next musical.
it. Great guy. Anyway, Richard and myself threw in a little bit into the play where I collapse in the Rocky Horror Show at one point.
Right.
And Richard goes, he's collapsed again. And this is his riffraff. And it brought the house down every night. I'm thinking of sending Richard O'Brien an invoice, actually.
Excellent. All right, so we've established you're not too keen at the moment to wander back into music. You're doing some live theatre. What about film?
Film's hard. I'm working on something myself, which is a sort of a satirical black comedy type of vibe. It's along the Bond films. I'm not going to give you the name because I'm sure... Well, I've actually registered the name. Maybe I should. Should I?
I'll tell you what, Jason, don't give it to us now. We'll keep people hanging on.
Absolutely.
We'll go to a quick song, or as we call it, a cheese break, and we'll be back in a moment with Jason Donovan and his mystery title on Martin Molloy. His new film project, he's nutting out in the back shed. Do you want to give us that title, Jace?
It's called James Bucket Bong.
Fantastic. All right.
I look forward to seeing that up in lights. You won't be confusing that with an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, will you?
Are members of the public going to be allowed to invest in this Lightning Jack style?
I don't know about that. In fact, I've heard that the Melbourne Football Club recently have got a new sponsor.
Oh, really?
Have you heard about that?
No.
It's registered on the stock exchange. It's called the All Ordinaries.
Oh, there you go. Now, Jace, talking of exciting...
I like doing interviews at this stage.
Well, it's pretty relaxed, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're all buddies, aren't we?
Absolutely.
No problem here.
Now, what else can we ask Jace?
I've got heaps of things I want to ask Jace about. I'm just going to throw some topics at you, and let's just shoot the breeze. Johnny Depp's Viper Room. We talk about it all the time on the show. Tell us what goes on. We'd love to go there. Would we get in?
You probably wouldn't get in.
Is Johnny there himself meeting people at the door in a Ricardo Montalban-style tuxedo? Leading people to their tables? Is that how it works?
No, Johnny isn't. Bless his dear heart. A very interesting man, a little older than myself. Comes from a similar background, a pretty average TV show that went through the roof.
And he's got his own club already.
He's got his own club. It's very sort of dark, a little sleazy, a little sticky. Everything a nightclub should be. But can I just tell you a funny story? The night was Kate Moss's 21st. So I go over there. I end up having a big night. Whatever that entails, you can have your own imagine. And I run back to the hotel to get more.
Right. Balloons. The balloon animals were flying.
That's it.
I can do a giraffe. I'll just go back to the hotel. That's what we're talking about.
So I go up to the room, which was adjoining the Viper Club. I come back downstairs, and there are babes. There's Christy, there's Naomi, everywhere I look, I just couldn't believe it. I was just in shock. I've never seen in 1 square kilometre so many babelicious girls.
Right.
So I'm just sitting there going, why? Why me? And then, and what it was Johnny decided to put little 20-minute segments, because it's basically for bands, really. There was this sort of funk, retro, 70s, the full do, played like you wouldn't believe. Then, at the end, Johnny and Hutch, Michael Hutchins.
Everyone's on board.
Everyone's on board. This was in the days of Helena. No babies, no heavenly.
Right.
Okay. Right. So he got up on stage, both of them. It was the rock moment to die for. There's Hutch with his foot in the wedge. Johnny was just swinging his hair. And there's me, just gone back to the hotel, come back, 2 days in. Bang. On the floor, upstage, both of them.
Oh, well done.
In the middle of their bracket.
The first thing they said to me is, because when a medic asks you if you're coming out of being unconscious, right? He says, "Where are you?" And I said, "Oh, Bondi." And he said, "Stretcher."
Bring it in.
That's the test, is it? Okay.
No, can I just say one thing, though? I've forgotten.
All right.
No, there was a really funny thing.
Jason, where are you?
Oh, yeah, it's all right.
Now, Jace, what next?
What next? What next is a play in London called, it's a straight play called Night Must Fall. It was written in the 1920s. It's a psychopath. That's what I was going to say. The collapse was the turning point of my career. Thank you very much.
And you're asking for it heading into a play called Night Must Fall, aren't you, really? There's going to be a few headlines there. You be watching out there.
That's good. One step ahead.
What about Mr. UK? We saw some footage of you doing the Mr. Gay UK.
Mr. Gay UK.
How was that?
That was a great cash gig.
That's how you describe that.
Fantastic.
And did you get to keep that garbage bag you were wearing?
Well, that was actually my idea, and John Paul Gaultier afterwards, because he was one of the judges, right?
Yeah.
And Richard O'Brien was there, and he was giving me a hard time because I hadn't learnt my lines for the show. Now, he had nothing to do with this. Is Richard O'Brien, who wrote the Rocky Horror Show. And he was bagging me off to my girlfriend and one of my friends, and didn't realise they were my girlfriend and my friend.
Okay.
So, I introduced him as like the big dork from hell. He wanted me to introduce him as Mephistopheles, because that's his new character, that's his new play.
Right, I see.
And that lasted 3 weeks.
Okay.
So I introduced him as Richard O'Brien for his own sake.
Good on you. What a wonderful person.
But it was a good event. It was a nice way of that whole gay thing that I went through was, it pissed me off because it was never meant to be a slur against them. The tabloids made it seem as if I was homophobic, and I just, what can you do? You got at certain points in your life, you got to say, stuff you.
There's lots of ugly stuff written about you in the press. Is there anything what's the thing that you've read about yourself that's made you laugh the most, that you've thought, how the hell did they make that up?
I don't know.
That's all true, is it?
It's all true. It's all true. It's also true, but I am laughing.
All right.
You've got to be drunk on success, I think.
Can we ask, just before we go, can we ask a favour with you?
Sure.
Me and Tone were discussing this before, and it'd be a great honour if you'd allow us to join you for a quick collapse. It can be done?
Absolutely. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, what's the difference between SAFM and the other radio stations?
You've got more buzz. More buzz. The rest of them are a bit boring.
What was going on in that interview, Mickey? Where do we start?
I don't know. Good on him.
At one point, he announced that he's sick of being Mr. Cheese. Mr. Cheese. Perhaps he could get together with Paul Onions. Perhaps there's a double act in waiting there. I don't know.
Maybe they could be cast as mismatched cops or something. A new drama or something. Cheese and onions.
Well, you're talking movies, and, we're getting closer to what we're here for, people. For one final time, Pete Smith is about to say...
It's time to fire up the Martin Molloy Love Machine. As you know, listeners, love can be a fickle mistress, but Mick and Tony have the technology to tame her. It's called the Love Machine, and it's chockers with the good stuff. Every day, the Love Machine spews out another challenge to test your knowledge and expertise in the field of love, relationships, and good old-fashioned doing the bizzo.
Well, I've actually got my missus right here with me at the moment, mate. She's hasn't been talking to me for a couple of days.
And why is that?
Well, I kind of went out fishing the other night, and I was sort of supposed to be back about 11 o'clock at night, but I didn't get home till about 3 in the morning.
Oh, dear. Well, David, now's your chance. Go for the big apologise.
Yeah, all right, darling, I'd really like to apologise.
Well, it's not good enough. You should have been home.
Well, look, I really want to apologise, okay, for being late.
It's not good enough.
Tone, I don't think we're helping. Listen to this. Tomorrow, we're drawing the winner of the car. It could be you, and that may help.
Good, you can sleep in the car.
If you can successfully rise to the Love Machine's challenge, you'll win tickets and a CD soundtrack to the new Australian film everybody's talking about, Love and Other Catastrophes. Plus, you'll go into the draw for a brand new Volkswagen Golf CL hatchback, valued at $27,000. Now, that's what I call a love machine. Okay, love doctors, it's the final installment. And by the way, I'm sure there's nothing to those rumours that the Love Machine itself has been sabotaged by someone from a rival station. Excuse me.
Was this supposed to happen? I'm not sure what's going on, Mickey. Wasn't supposed to have... Hello?
Okay, lads, crank it up.
All right. Okay, well, it's not boding very well, is it?
No, not at
for
all.
The big finale.
What do you want me to do?
Well, let's just give it a go. Just crank the lever if you could. And oh dear, looks like not good. Don't worry, because the Love Machine we know has a heart of marshmallow. Yeah, so nobody harmed at all. What is going on?
I have no idea.
dear. I lost track of that minutes ago. Where did Pete go? What happened?
I need...
Turn me back for a minute, and this place is bedlam.
Well, we need Jason Donovan to come running back in here and explain it to us. But nonetheless, it is the final edition of The Love Machine. And let's now meet the person who's really made this segment possible for us. She's the director of the film, which has basically provided the backbone for the segment over the last 3 weeks. Love and Other Catastrophes open now in a cinema near you. It's Emma Kate Krogan. Emma Kate, thanks for coming in today.
It's okay.
Now, it's part of the program, really. Do you mind if we call you Krogs? Because we give everybody an abbreviated name. Would that be all right?
Croggingham's better, I reckon.
Okay, all right. Well, that'll do. EK.
I get that EK Holden.
You get that? Very nice. Now, I don't know if you've actually heard The Love Machine. Has it been playing a large part in your life of late?
Oh, we listen to it all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've probably been trying to call but can never get through on the lines. It's just one of those things.
Now, this film of yours, it's out now. Have you? It's been out for a day. Have you been down to watch it in a cinema with the GP, see how it's playing?
We're going tonight. We're going to sneak up the back of a couple.
Right. Is that a lot of pressure when you do that, sitting there, seeing how people laugh, seeing if they're moving in the right places?
Yeah, it's a comedy, so you know the setup, and you're waiting for the payoff, as you would know.
Yeah. Oh,
you would have seen this with a lot of people before, though, because it's kind of been prominent at the start of all film festivals running around the country and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, are you getting lots of offers? That's what I want to know. Do you get dopey offers from Hollywood at this point?
Yeah, you get a couple. The Americans are fantastic, though. They're wonderful. One agent told me, that it was really important that I sign with him because he was going to help me capitalise on my window of heat.
Your window of heat? Do we have a window of heat on this program?
No, I've been looking for ages, but there's just nothing.
That window's stuck on this program. Now,
no demister required for our window, Tone.
While the window's open, while we've got you here, while there's heat in the room, what we thought we'd do, because the Love Machine seems to have self-destructed, we're talking movie scenarios. We're thinking you're going to be starting work on a second movie soon, I'm guessing.
Yes,
correct. Have you got lead actors?
Well, I'm always open to casting.
Well, that's what we're going to do today. Good. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to get some romantic leads for your new film. And if you like them, you can throw them back in our face. But if you like them, maybe you could secure the services of these people and we'll have another Aussie movie success on our hands. Now, recently in Hollywood, they had one of these polls. They went round to all these people and they said, who do you want to see? Went round the general public. Who do you want to see in bed together? Who do you want to see in a romantic film together? And people were going, I want to see Sharon Stone. I want to see Brad Pitt. I want to see Don Knotts. I want to see Linda Carter from Wonder Woman. People were throwing all their suggestions together, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to get people to call up and say which is the romantic couple you'd like to see in a movie together, perhaps one that hasn't been done. Let's just give one example. You got any ideas, Mickey?
What about David Boone playing opposite B. Arthur from the Golden Girls? Now, that's going to get steamy. There's a window of heat. Tell me that's not going to go off.
What do you reckon, EK? Can it work?
I'm a bit worried about the pacemaker.
All right. Okay.
I've got an insurance worry, I think, with B. Arthur.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we can go better. Our listeners have to come to the rescue.
What about this? What about, say, a remake of something kind of speedy, like, the movie Speed?
Yeah, sure.
But with, say, Pamela Anderson and Blakey from On the Buses.
Well,
is that going to work? Is that kind of chemistry going to carry a feature film?
She's leaving the room, Mickey.
Brad Pitt and Barbara Cartland. No, think about it. Something kind of like Seven, and at the end they open the box to reveal Barbara Cartland's head. I mean, I'm thinking, is there any future?
There's a bit of a cheering. There would be cheering going on.
That would be an uplifting ending, wouldn't it?
It's a feel-good. It'll play well for the families. Okay, now that's what we're doing today. We want romantic leads you'd like to see in a film together. We've got the nation's top young film director here. She can make it happen. She's the one with the window of heat. And there is a car. She's driven it in here today. It's the Volkswagen Golf. It's worth 27 grand.
It's a corker.
Somebody is going to walk away from the remains of the Love Machine with the keys to that vehicle. Call us now with your romantic leads. 1-800-657-657.
This is Martin Molloy.
But even on a job that carries a 50-50 chance of death, these wonderful boys start out with a light heart and a joke.
Brought to you by Absolutely Nobody.
The radio handbook for DJs says success.
Thankfully, this is the final afternoon. You'll have to endure that noise from Mick Molloy.
Call it a din. I've told you before, it's a din.
All right, it is a din. It's a full-on cacophony. It's the final edition of The Love Machine. And, well, the person who's made this whole competition possible, Emma Kate Krogan, the director of Love and Other Catastrophes, is with us on the panel. I'm not sure that she's too impressed by what she's seeing today. I'm taking that as a no.
Yeah.
But what we're doing today is we're looking for romantic leads for her next movie. And if she likes it, if she's biting down, that could well come to pass. There could be a bit of funding. There could be a bit of casting. There could be some high-level film-type meetings. Are you ready? EK, you ready, in position?
I'm ready.
Okay. Let's meet the casting geniuses. Mick Molloy, who we got first?
It's Liz. Hello, Liz.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, not bad. How are you guys?
Oh, yeah, we're all right. We've been better. We've been worse. But, hey, enough about us.
Hey, Liz, what did you make of Jason Donovan earlier?
Oh, Jason Donovan.
Yes. Well done. There's a prize in the mail. Now, E.K. Krogan's here. She's looking for suggestions for her next Australian motion picture. Give us the leads. Who's it going to be?
Marty Feldman and, what's her name, Christy Brinkley?
Christy Brinkley. Is that appealing at all, Emma?
What's the story? Are they going to get married and have a really messy divorce?
No, I thought maybe it could be sort of like a role reversal thing where Christy Brinkley's the nerd who's after Marty Feldman.
Oh, right, so it's a screwball comedy.
Yeah.
I think that's what that's called.
And
Okay.
every time she appears, his eyes nearly pop out of his head. Which is pretty much what they're doing all the time. So
right.
You wouldn't really know, would you?
It's a pity that Marty's no longer with us because he's sitting on some prime signage for the Puma contact lenses at the Olympics. But thanks very much, Liz. Now we'll talk to our second casting genius. Lisa, are you with us?
Yeah.
Lisa, what's your suggestion for Emma Kate's next film?
Danny DeVito and Elle Macpherson.
Oh, it's another supermodel.
It's another twins.
Is that appealing at all?
I can see one joke, but I don't think it's right for air. So what's your idea for the film?
Maybe something like The Phantom, Danny DeVito in a tight purple outfit.
In The Phantom?
I think that was the idea that Emma Kate suggested was too blue to be heard on radio. Let's move on.
Yes, and besides, Elle Macpherson's film career hasn't really... it's still in the starting blocks, really, isn't it? Okay. All right, well, next we've got Neil. Neil, have you got a suggestion for Emma Kate?
Yeah, it's got to be Roseanne Barr and Ray Martin.
What do you think? Can you coax a performance out of Ray Martin? Have you seen him act? Did you ever see A Town Like Dallas on the midday show, Emma Kate? Did you ever see that?
Oh, I was actually thinking about the kids, actually, what the kids would look like.
Oh.
The hair.
You've been thinking about it
the
too
hair
much.
And the size.
Yes, no, I don't think that's ringing any bells, Neil. Nice try. Now we've got Katrina. You there, Katrina? Katrina, are you with us? She's still... I can hear something. I can hear breathing.
Hello.
Yes. Katrina, have you got a casting suggestion for the sequel to Love and Other Catastrophes?
I certainly have. I thought Kate Fisher would have to be the lead.
Yep.
And I couldn't think of anybody stupid enough to put up with her, so probably Kramer from Seinfeld.
Kramer! Now, Emma Kate, you're going along to a few film festival openings. You must have run into Kate Fisher at one point.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Poor girl.
Kramer? You run into Kramer? No?
I'm waiting desperately. But
Interesting. I don't know where that's going. Katrina, did you know how you actually saw them and what kind of vehicle?
Well, it's like a fatty and skinny thing, you know, like Beauty and the Beast.
Right. So
which is which?
It's a mismatch kind of a deal. They like that kind of thing in Hollywood. You'll be getting all kinds of mismatched cop deals thrown at you while your window of heat's open. Don't you worry. Now, have we got Martin with us? Martin?
Yes, g'day, fellas.
Have you got a winning suggestion for the romantic leads for the sequel to Love and Other Catastrophes?
Yes, seeming it's an Australian-themed film, I reckon Bronwyn Bishop and Kim Beazley.
Oh, yes. Get your V-chips out. Two people with undoubted charisma, pulling power and star presence. Is it impressing you, Emma Kate?
Well, maybe if I could make that one work, there's an Academy Award in it. So
So you think that might be the winning suggestion?
Well, yeah, because if you could get the performance, then,
You've gone the extra mile. Okay, all right, we'll go with Martin's suggestion. That's our winner today, the Bishop Beazley ticket. It's a fantastic idea. And
get Bogey and Bacall.
Exactly.
There is a new couple in town.
Exactly. Well, now we're going to put Martin's name into the Beasley itself by coincidence. And I tell you what, we've got quite a few people in the barrel. And is it time, Gracie, if we've got the medley ready to go? Because a lot of people have been putting themselves in the running for this fabulous prize, this 27 grand Volkswagen Golf. And let's just find out the kind of endeavours and efforts our contestants went to over 3 weeks of the Love Machine.
Hi, I'm Gary, and I went on a date with a streaker at the footy.
Hello, my name is Philip, and I'm the author of Another Day Without You.
Hi, I'm Susan, and I confess to a national audience that I used to have a crush on Alex Papp.
Hi, my name's Ryan. My mate proposed to his girlfriend on a booze bus. Hi, I'm Andrew, and I call my girlfriend Love Jug.
Hi, I'm Lisa, and I deliberately blew up my boyfriend's car, and he still married me.
Hi, I'm Pete, and I'm pretty keen on Penny and Judy Robinson from Lost in Space.
Hi, I'm Chris, and when me and my wife split up, she got the bike and I got the sidecar.
Hi, I'm Carla, and I admitted to having a teenage crush on MacGyver.
Hello, my name's Grant, and my wife and I like to make love to the Wiggles.
Hi, I'm Laurie, and I went to a wacky wedding at the races.
Hi, I'm David's wife, and he apologised to me on national radio for being late home from fishing, but that won't do him any good.
Oh, no. So that was yesterday's. And let's not forget the couple from Goulburn who had the fight over the porky bits, and, of course, Ken from Kilsyth and his romantic evening involving the spicy foods. Now, it's quite a pantheon. Yes. Look at the kind of behaviour you've been prompting. You didn't realise that when you started making that film, did you? You were going to draw this out of the public.
I know it's got you direct a film and then you become a barrel girl.
Well, exactly.
You've gone about this all the wrong way, Emma.
All we can do is apologise, but that is your function today. Reach into the barrel and pull one of those names out. It's an exciting moment for all Australians. Who is it?
David Baker of Maroochydore, Queensland.
Oh, yes, the Bakester, the Bake Man. And it was the man who got into trouble yesterday with the fishing scenario. Well, if that doesn't get him out of the poo with the wife, I don't know what will.
He's not allowed in the car. Oh, that's right. He's got to sleep in the car.
He's
got a new car.
That's right. He's joining the roster of Australians who choose to sleep in their vehicles. Fantastic, David, and that's all courtesy of the makers of Love and Other Catastrophes. Emma Kate, thanks for sitting through this today.
You're welcome.
And the film is out now, and here's a treat because, we've had a lot of requests for this. And what we're going to do now is encourage people all around the country to turn up their stereos. Wherever you might be, turn up your radio. If you're in a vehicle, wind the windows down no matter what the weather, the meteorological conditions. Crank your stereo up to 11 and let's just have a brief moment of love right around the big brown land.
Give yourself a cuddle, Australia.
Here it comes. Let's hear Barry White and Can't Get Enough of Your Love.
I've heard people say that too much of anything is no good.
There he is, Barry White, declaring the Love Machine closed for business here at Martin Molloy, and that's pretty much all we've got time for. We'll be back with a new competition next week. Do we know what it is at this stage?
Shall we say?
Yeah, why not?
Well, it's going to be called True Confessions.
It's Martin Molloy's True Confessions. It's going to get pretty ugly. Well, I think it is because, frankly, we're yet to nut it out properly. That'll be a late one tonight, I think. Yeah. But anyway, before we go, there is a tradition which always occurs at about this time, and it's called the Martin Molloy Comedy Incinerator. This is where we take all the really feeble jokes we somehow couldn't crowbar into the show earlier in the week. We get them out of our systems once and for all. Start the clock, Gracie, and I'll kick things off with news that in New Zealand, a newspaper ad for male impotence problems was withdrawn when it offended the family of the country's oldest living Olympian. A picture of javelin champion Stan Lay was used in the ad but was doctored so the javelin appeared limp. Said Stan's wife, "It's not fair. Just last night after lights out, he threw what I'd describe as a 9.8. I think people are getting the idea.
I think they are. Excuse me. Thousands of litres of milk endorsed by Olympic champion Kieran Perkins were withdrawn from sale after customers complained it was bad. The milk was taken from supermarket shelves immediately after some cartons were found to contain lumps the size of Farlep's heart.
This week, about 50 Melburnians protesting overhead pay TV cables visited the office of Federal Communications Minister Richard Alston and dumped several lengths of cable out the front. We felt it was a valid protest, said a spokesman, and it was easily hosed away afterwards.
A woman who had 24 teeth pulled in one afternoon has been awarded $1.4 million in court after a judge deemed the work unnecessary. The woman claimed it was the single most painful afternoon of her life, but, well, did add that as yet she hadn't been to see an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical.
And finally, it was the week Channel 10 founder Reg Fox sadly passed away at age 85. Mr. Fox is survived by his wife, 4 children, and tragically, the hosts of the new Candid Camera. Mr. Fox's funeral will be held at 5 o'clock. That's 1 hour earlier than most rival funerals. And really, that's our cue to sign off. Fire up that band and finger, Get him out of the sight. And we'd like to thank our guests today, Jason Donovan, Emma Kate Krogan, Baby John Burgess, all our gladiators and love machinists. As always, a big end of week salute to our producer, Gracie. Our assistant, Emma. Making the sketches, it's Vicky.
On you, Vic.
And the button pushers right around the network.
Button pushers!
We'd like to thank the Martin Molloy dancers.
Yeah!
And Deb,
one more time.
What about Deb Clark, who helped us out with Mission Predictable?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, on you, Deb.
And, of course, the man in the glass booth, one Pete Smith.
Yeah, right. Is he back?
Oh, yeah.
Is he back? On you, Pete.
He got out of here quick, smart, and we'll be back next week with Steve Waugh. And we'll have the motivational music ready, I'm sure. Also, Nick Barker will be joining us, and hopefully we will be finally making contact with Judith Lucy. And until then, people, here it is, one final visit to Atlanta. Martin Molloy Olympic Moments, brought to you by the Arse Blaster 2000. Now there's a potentially fatal way to lose weight instantly. Although it's still one of the newest Olympic events, straining is already one of its hardest fought. 4 years ago, Peres Dimas won the gold in Barcelona, and the Greek was determined to defend his crown, starting with a straightforward single strain with follow-through. Well, that's a fairly basic strain, plenty of focus. Yes, he'd have to be pretty happy with that. Easily an improvement on his previous 3 strains, especially that pathetic semi-grunt we witnessed this morning. But Germany's Mark Huster was determined to top him. And a bold start. Has he left himself anywhere to go? He's faltering. No, it's a bluff. And yes, it's a new world record. And look at that, he's over the moon. And now we're seeing some of the antics he's famous for. Dimas, though, wasn't going to give up the gold without a fight. He produced a lung-busting 25-second strain, resulting in, yes, another world record. Oh, that's incredible. Yes, that is a man who starts straining the moment he gets up in the morning and keeps on going till he's lost complete control of his motor neurons altogether. Denied the top prize, Huster came out for one final strain, the German hoping for at least a silver and several burst blood vessels. Oh, my God, he's going for a clean strain. This could be disastrous. He's never undertaken such an intense burst before. The pressure must be incredible, and... oh, my God, he split his trunks, and he appears to be losing complete control of several bodily functions. Oh, Jesus, panic in the auditorium. Many charging for the exits, but yes, it's another world record strain for the German. It's certainly been a great day for straining. Open a window, will you? Don't miss our next Martin Molloy Olympic moment. It's the one where the Australian commentator didn't say the competitor had a heart as big as Far Lap. Well, this is extraordinary. Yes, I don't think there's been a precedent.
Martin Molloy is a misguided production in association with Half-Baked Ideas and Ill-Conceived Concepts Proprietary Limited. Pete Smith speaking.